Dinesh, I want to, again, picking up on the thread that we were just having and picking up on what you said on anticipating the big trends and the big mega trends that you at Cisco were able to spot specifically with regards to the India market and how you then changed course within the company and so on and so forth. How do you ensure that you don't get distracted, especially in an environment where the government one day is telling you make in India, the second day it's telling you digital India, the third day it's telling you smart cities and so on and so forth? How do you ensure that you don't get distracted and you make the right choices, you make the right bets?
So I think, Shereen, firstly, we basically have, one simple tendency. Every time you see the next shiny toy, you start to run in that direction. And I think that's why I said it was not about big speeches that were being made or, we started having very different conversations with our customers. And you have to take a very large sample size to have those discussions. You also have to look at the fact that in any market, for that matter, when so many people are moving from, let's say, rural to urban, that's not driven by the government. That's not driven. It's just natural. People are looking for better lives. Now, what happens when they show up? So you have to logically start analyzing, what are some of the patterns, talk to your customers, and then make certain decisions and big bets. If you just think of a new idea, listen to a speech, or go read a very fancy book, or look at some proverb and make a decision, that is chasing the next shiny toy, and we completely avoided that.
Did you face some of the same issues that Dinesh just talked about?
Yeah, but they're a product business as well, and I think it matters a little bit. We have the philosophy of rapid experimentations. How can you try out many, many different things very quickly before you zone in on... Right, 3-6 months and sort of experiment with different ideas before you zone into one. So, I'm personally a big believer in the opportunity to experiment and then zone in.
Okay. Experiment and then zone in. I'm going to throw this open to the audience. Rajiv, this one's for you. When are we going to see a Bajaj car on Indian roads?
Sorry, what?
When are we going to see a Bajaj car on Indian roads?
Oh, we are not a car maker. In fact, our position as a company is that we are a anti-car company. Because we feel that people should either walk, cycle, use two-wheelers or three-wheelers. Because cars are too big, too fast, they pollute, they congest, and they kill all of us because they run over us. Yeah, because people say that two-wheelers are dangerous. My submission is two-wheelers are dangerous only when hit by a car. Otherwise, they are not dangerous. Seriously, that's why so many cities in Europe, for example, are becoming carless. Because it's safer to walk, cycle, etc., use the metro, whatever. Having said that, more seriously, we are the world's largest three-wheeler maker, and we export more than we sell in this market. And, ever since I was in school, people would make fun of me saying, ki, ye kaisa gaadi banate ho, 3 wheels, no doors, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai, and all that. So one day I sat down with my guys and I said, look, we have to make something that is a little more respect-worthy. So we said to us, this is the difference between business and entrepreneurship. So, because entrepreneurship mein naam kamate, business mein to khali paisa kamate. So we said the best three-wheeler would be a four-wheeler. It should have 4 wheels, it should have a seat belt, it should have a hard roof, it should have 4 doors. All the kind of things that car people take for granted. But the poor auto guy, as a driver or a passenger, thinks of it as a luxury. So we created this category of vehicles called a quadricycle, as opposed to a three-wheeler, which is a tricycle. And we thought that, it's as obvious as daylight that this is better than that. Because it was more fuel efficient, it was greener, it was safer, it was more comfortable. Now today, after 5 years of having done this, you may or may not be surprised to know that we are today exporting to countries in Asia, to Europe, for example, to Russia, to Turkey, to LATAM. This is the only country that has not given us permission to sell this vehicle. Because for some reason it thinks that a four-wheeler is worse and let people continue on three-wheelers. So what I want to say, because there is a question on innovation before this question, I want to say one thing very seriously to all of you, that if your innovation in this country depends on government approval or the judiciary process, it will not be a case of made in India, it will be a case of mad in India. After 5 years, we are still waiting for permission to sell our four-wheeler in this country.
Okay, so make in India to mad in India. Let me take the innovation question forward then with you, Dinesh. But you want to talk about some of the challenges that he just spoke of, regulatory challenges in India, the ease of doing business in India, IPR issues in India, if any. I mean, I'm not in the camp, and we just had the US Chamber of Commerce put out a report ranking India at the bottom again of the IPR index, and I think that's wrong because whether it's with compulsory licensing or other IPR related issues, I don't think India has such a bad track record. Yeah. But on the ground, what are the challenges that you face as you innovate?
So I sit in the very optimistic camp because honestly I look at growth and progress. In the last 3 years, let's face it, we started on a journey on digitization. India is far ahead of any other country in the world. I can tell you we should feel proud about it. When 4 Indians join the internet every second, this group of people should feel great about it.
Rishad, let me put this question to you. With companies like Apple moving from the PC to music to phones to watches to cars successfully, we don't know successfully just yet on the cars specifically, how important is it to stay focused in your domain?
Yeah, we're of the school of thought. If you know the history of Wipro, we were actually quite a diversified company in 3 or 4 different areas, from the consumer product business to infrastructure engineering, where we make hydraulic cylinders that go into tractors, excavators, to a partnership on the healthcare side with GE, to the IT business. And we've separated those businesses out because we really believe in strong focus. So we will look at adjacencies, but not fundamentally getting out of the technology business, at least as a part of Wipro Limited.
Forget reimagining, re-engineering. Where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? Where do you see Bajaj Auto 5 years down the line? Where do you see India 5 years down the line?
No, I don't know about India. This is not my job. I share with you a new initiative we have on our mind. We think, like most automakers do, that the cities of our world need a better automotive solution for transportation of people, for first mile, last mile, etc. And we think that we are one of the companies that is very well positioned, given our cost structure, given our skills with making small vehicles, to innovate something in this space, to create a new kind of urban mobility, as we like to call it, which is chic, which is very green and valid for the future. So hopefully we are following the advice of Dinesh. We are looking at the trend correctly, and we are going to learn fast and skill fast and move in that direction. So that's one specific thing we are trying to do for the future.
Okay. Rishad, 5 years down the line.
I think the technology industry is not for the faint-hearted, right? And I think there's a lot of opportunity but a lot of risk. And I think, being decisive and clear in terms of choices you make today, I think will pay dividend over the next few years.
Do you see the Indian IT industry, the landscape that we've gotten used to and accustomed to over the past several years, changing significantly given all the uncertainty and the disruption?
I think it will present new opportunities. I mean, you look back historically, and people said that after Y2K, people said that after the ERP story, people said that after the BPO story or the infrastructure story. So I'm very optimistic about the ability to innovate and to sort of stay ahead of the curve.
Biggest takeaway for me personally from the conversation that I've had here this morning is that the focus really has to be on your ability to make changes, your ability to adapt, and your ability to know very clearly what you want to go after. I think the rest of it can be addressed and dealt with, but to be clear about what you stand for, what you believe in, and what you would like to go after, I think will answer a lot of the problems and a lot of the challenges that we see this sector facing today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a great audience. Thanks very much indeed.